I recently had the opportunity to visit Traxxside Logistics in Guelph, Ontario, a very large transload facility. And what a transload facility is that it's a place where product is exactly that, transloaded. So between truck and rail, or rail and truck, it can also be stored there as well. Traxxside mainly deals in commodities. I'll get a little bit more into some details in a minute. In the picture you'll see I've circled the two facilities, which are basically abutted each other. One is on Speedvale Avenue, and that's the main facility, and then the smaller one is on Campbell Road. So let's get a little bit into the information or facts. So basically what Traxxside Logistics is they use their knowledge and expertise in handling various products from rail cars, trucks, trailers, and containers, which is what I mentioned before, but let's even expand it on that a bit. And they are also a HACCP certified and organic certified partner, which means that they're able to handle food quality product. They work very closely with bulk supply chains, and they form very solid, strong partnerships in working with these partners with regards to handling their product. A little bit of facts about Traxxside Logistics. So with regards to the facility itself, there are 8 total sidings on site. There's bulk storage with a capacity of 10,000 metric tons. And they have silos that have a capacity of 800 to 1,000 tons each. They have warehousing of about 140,000 square feet of food grade storage. They also provide packaging, rolling, and screening services. From the rail infrastructure and service side, the transloading service is located on the Guelph Junction Railway. Now, the Guelph Junction Railway is actually unique in that part of trackage into Guelph from Guelph Junction down near Campbellville, Ontario, is wholly owned by the city of Guelph, and it's leased out to railways. So this line is, in this case, can be utilized by 2 railways, CN and Goderich Exeter Railway, or GEXR. And GEXR, they interchange with CPKC, Canadian Pacific Kansas City Railway, at Guelph Junction. They have company-owned equipment, and that includes quite a variety of tractors, with regards to a bunch of trailers with multi-axles, because a lot of things they handle are very heavy. They have some are dump trailers, some have hopper bottoms for dumping right out and such, and they also have dry vans, which I believe they are all, tri-axle. So let's get into the meat of it, and I'll show you some videos of and some pictures of what I took. Single car rail sidings are very rare these days, as railways don't enjoy servicing them because it costs a lot of money to switch in and out of there. Whereas a transload facility offers multiple car loads and is much more advantageous and profitable for the railways to service. First off, let's look at some of the sidings that I mentioned earlier. So basically there's this is a bunch of them here. First on Speedvale. This one is basically an unload facility. I'll show some of the unloading bins and stuff like that, and the doors that they use in a bit. And just moving along here, just took a few snapshots, and you'll see some of the sidings and that. And also, once again, some of the unloading things, as well as a little bit of a shot of some of the silos as well. And then these last 2 shots, this is across the road on Campbell. As I mentioned earlier, let's have a look at some of the trap doors they use for unloading. So this is where the hoppers would dump their loads into. And so here's a couple of shots of some trap doors here on the one siding. I believe it was the first siding that I showed. Both these are located on that siding. And then here's a short video actually showing of a hopper unloading into one of these bins, or a bin similar to one of these bins. And the same, their trucks also come in here and unload as well. And here's an example of a truck also unloading its cargo. And as I mentioned earlier, they also load rail cars here. So here's a couple of examples. Here's the first one. This is once again off of the Campbell Road facility where a hopper is being loaded. And then the next one back, we jump back across the Speedville, and it's off in the distance there. And I believe I showed this picture earlier. of the siding, but that's just a straightforward conveyor belt for loading a hopper as well. In the case of when the cars are being unloaded, here's some shots inside the building, beside those trap doors. So basically this is coming right from that. The stuff is basically conveyor loaded. It drops down into those holes and gets loaded in the building, comes in through here. And then you can see it processing up through into the building and then down into some bins or bags, and then it's stored and eventually is loaded into a truck when it is needed. Conversely, for loading, it's basically the exact opposite. So in this case, here's the area where the truck comes in and it dumps the load into the floor and then from there into this conveyor belt and then load it onto the rail car. In this case, the product that is being loaded into the hoppers is quite dusty. So those pipes that you saw earlier, I'll show them again here, are used for collecting the dust, and then they go into this bin shown in this picture here. And then lastly here, as I mentioned, trucks are load and unload as well. So here's this loading aisle or lane for trucks. Now, there are some cases where trucks and rail cars use the same lanes. Obviously, they try and prioritize that the rail cars are in there first, but it's always a bit of a juggling match, I'm sure. Here's a more close-up view of one of the larger silos on site. And as noted, they have the capacity to store 800 to 1,000 metric tons. So let's take a look briefly at some of the railway cars. So first off, this would be a former Government of Canada rail car, but they're still used to this day for grain. Obviously, they're getting maybe a little closer to the end of their life expectancy here. And then there's another fairly high capacity rail car here. The higher capacity cars, what I mean is higher in volume, but obviously when it comes to weight, there's a certain weight limit that the railways allow. So this last picture, you can see that this hopper is only a 2-bay hopper, much shorter. And so it would tend to haul product that's much denser, and thus so it would weigh out much quicker than it would cube out. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Traxxside Logistics is switched by both Canadian National and Goderich Extra Railway. So here's a couple of shots I took, because fortunately while I was there, both railways came in and switched the facility. So first off, here's a CN GP38-2, looking a little worse for wear, number 4709. And then later on, a couple of GP38s, one GP38-2, number 2073 in the picture here. And in 2004, which you can't really see in this shot, was just the GP38. And actually Quebec and Gatineau Railway, a sister railway also owned by the parent company, Genesee in Wyoming. So what does Traxxside Logistics do if they can't get CN or GEXR, or in some cases they won't switch some sidings potentially? What does Traxxside Logistics do? Well, Traxxside Logistics has a couple of solutions for this. One is the tractor, shown in this picture. The tractor has an actual railway coupler on it, so it can couple right onto a railway car. And I believe Dave mentioned it can haul up to 4 cars, but I may stand corrected on that. And the front end, as you can see here, the plate, it can also shove cars. So in the case where the car just needs to be moved slightly, whereas with the coupler, it's a more secure hold on the car, especially if it's on a grade or something, obviously. They also have a trackmobile, which is almost like a little locomotive, shown in a couple shots here at a bit of a distance. And of course, it has the capacity to move a number of railway cars at any given time as well. And they also have some tow lines and some winches as well on some sidings that they can use to, with limited capacity, to move some cars around when need be as well. Lastly, let me talk a bit about the trucking fleet. So basically, they have a fairly substantial fleet, and here's a picture here of a 5-axle. I believe it's a dump trailer for, hauling obviously different bulk products. They have a number of these on the property, and they also have some hopper ones as well. Here's another shot of a similar trailer. This one's also a 5-axle, probably very similar, if not the same type of equipment as the one you saw in the earlier picture. And I believe the tractor on the front is a Western Star. Here's a Peterbilt tractor hooked on to one of their tri-axle drive-ins. So I didn't get a lot of shots of the trucks. Obviously, I was focused on my hobby, which is trains. But anyway, hopefully you got a good snapshot there. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope maybe you learned something today on what exactly a transload facility is. Thanks again to Dave for giving me the tour of the facility and allowing me to take these pictures. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like on your YouTube button and potentially subscribe to my channel.